Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com. And today I want to talk about the failed ideas that many people propagate in hard times and the fact that blessing and opportunities are ever before you. People are parroting ideas that aren't true today. And there's so many failed ideas about money and business that people just simply repeat as if it's true. And one of them is, well, you got to get a good education and go to college. That's still, to this day, amazingly being repeated and told to kids. Well, you got to get a good education. Yes, that part's true. Now, get a good education for what is important, because you could become very rich and successful not having a good education. But I would also argue that that's only not having a traditional education, because most of those people have all kinds of education in the fields they're in handling people, dealing with employees, and hiring the right people. There's all kinds of educations you'll never get from a school that those people excel in. And they had to learn somewhere. And normally it's just by going through trial and error. But yes, if you want to go work for a corporation, probably you need to go to college. But here's the thing. I can't tell you how many people I've known over the years who went to college, spent all this money, and they're 10, 20 years later, they're still paying off college debts. And they are working in a job where they weren't even asked about their degree. No one cares. Because in this world that we live in today, very different from the 50s and stuff that a lot of people, where they're talking about this, oh, you got to go to school and get an education and work at the same company for 40 years and then retire, all this stuff. That was where that all of that generated from. But more importantly today is, what can you actually do? See, if I went to work at a company somewhere, they couldn't replace me with AI or with a robot or even with another employee. They would need 4 or 5 people to match my skill level and my ability. And the fact that, because I would go there and I would do my work unto the Lord. Where other people are there and they're talking about, well, I'll just do enough to get by, and why would I want to work late on the weekend? They're not paying me any extra. And that's their mentality. And then they wonder why they aren't getting promoted. They aren't getting extra in their work. But they do not have the right mindset toward work, which is that work is ennobling. It's good. It's not bad. Now, I'm not telling you to go work for somebody else, go work for some corporation or anything like that, because the reality is you're better off having your own business. But I do understand that some people just aren't cut out for that. They're not going to be very good at that. And that's all right. Each individual has their own place and something that they can excel in. But the key is, whatever you're doing, if you're doing it unto the Lord, whether you have your own business or whether you work for someone else, you are going to rise up the ranks and prosper. That's the reason why many people don't. Now, in today's world, after the lockdowns and everything, there's many people who are unemployed. Tens of millions of people in the United States who are unemployed. Now, a lot of those jobs will go back to being in place once things start going again normally. But some of those jobs will never come back. Part of it being because people were exposed. There were people working at jobs, and when the company had to pull back, they didn't have to, but they chose to, and some of them were shut down so they couldn't even be opened. And then they opened back up slowly, start ramping things up again, and they realized that a lot of these employees weren't doing a whole lot, and they weren't able to justify bringing them back. And this is a problem many people have. If you're going to go work and be a wage slave, you have to be valuable. And the fact that most people aren't, or they may have some value, I'm not talking about as an individual, as a person, but in that company, that they could be easily replaced by a robot or AI or something like that, because they haven't worked in a way where they truly believe that work is an ennobling thing. It's good. It's productive, it's useful, it is not bad, it's not evil, it's not something to be dreading each day. And so they don't produce at a level of someone who is working under the Lord, who is doing things unto the Lord. They just are simply not going to produce. And all the education in the world is not going to make you productive and valuable in that sense compared to the person who is willing to do their work as unto the Lord. Now, you may argue that, well, but I can't because, I don't really enjoy this job and it's not what I want to do with my life. Well, then start your own business. Too many people are talking about what they don't want, what they don't like, and ignoring what they do want and what they do like. If your job is that terrible and that miserable, and many of you have been put in positions to where you are unemployed now, don't go back to trying to get that same job back that made you miserable. If you can right now, with this time you have now, and many of these people are getting unemployment, so you have some funds coming in, what can you do that you've been wanting to do? What endeavor can you put your effort into? Because sitting around all day whining about someday you're going to go back to work is not a good idea. And it's not going to bring about productivity in your life. And it's not going to bring about the blessing of the Lord that you want. Listen, God never, ever, ever rewards laziness. He doesn't reward people who speak evil about work. That's not saying that your job is good or anything like that. But work itself is not a bad thing. It was initially intended for man. In the garden, if you look, he was there to till the ground. He was there to tend to the plant life. He was there to name the animals and to interact with them and have fellowship with them. My friend, you have a great blessing and opportunity right now. I know people are talking about it, act like the sky's falling and everything's so bad, and I get there are legitimate troubles that people are going through right now. But you have a great opportunity available to you. And this doesn't just go for the United States only. In many parts of the world, great opportunities are staring you in the face. Now, you can talk about how bad it was at work. You could talk about how bad the economy is and the government and this and that and all these things. Or you can focus on what you want. You can get in faith for building the business that you want to build or the service you want to offer to people. Or you can talk about the things of the world, talk about the negativity, talk about doom and gloom. But do you know what's interesting? In this doom and gloom that people are talking up, the wealthiest people have added tens of billions of dollars to their net worth. When everybody else is going down, they have added tremendous amounts of wealth. Why that's happening is a whole nother discussion, but the point is, if you will have an eye out for opportunity, and you seek and pray and ask the Lord to give you wisdom and guidance and to show you the opportunities before you. And then, this is the important step, because you can do that all day long, and if you just ignore the wisdom God gives you, it's not going to do you any good. And it cuts off your supply line from the infinite, from God's wisdom, when you ignore it and you don't receive it and you don't act on it. The important thing is you get that wisdom and then act on it. Do something, whatever it may be, small or large, to start working toward filling that need, providing that service, providing that product, starting that business, whatever it may be, partnering with a friend to start a business. Do something. That wisdom is freely available to you. You, my friend, can absolutely do great things if you will have the attitude that work is ennobling, work is a good thing, and that there's plenty of opportunities available to you right here and now, if you only open yourself up to take them. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.